Ladies and gentlemen, I told you last week, I said, there's three things in life that are true. I said there is death, there is taxes, and the third thing is always debatable. And I said the fact that the Cavs were a dumpster fire. And ladies and gentlemen, as of this morning, it is official. John Beilein is no longer the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, here's the thing. Instead of the Cavs just naming J.B. Bickerstaff the interim head coach, I think there is a bigger part of the story than people realize. It is expected, according to the great Adrian Wojnarowski, better known as Woj from ESPN, that J.B. Bickerstaff, who of course has a last name that, insists that he bickers with his staff, will be taking over as the full-time head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Why do I think that's significant? Because if you guys remember, in November of 2018, so a little bit over a year ago, I wrote one of my first in-depth articles for Box Score Radio. And I talked about the 5-year plan. I touched on this a little bit last week with our good buddy Quinn Griffin called in. But in that 5-year plan, you guys can go back and look it up. I said the Cavs necessarily don't have to get the right coach to about year 3 or year 4. What they needed to do is get a coach that can develop players. In my opinion, especially in football, of course, coaching is everything. But in basketball, it's probably the least sport, especially in the NBA, where you need coaching. However, young guys need to develop. And that's why I defended the Cavs hiring John Beilein at the time. Because, of course, he was a college coach. He knew how to develop college kids. That's what the Cavs need right now, is somebody to help develop kids. They don't need a winner right now, in my opinion. They don't need to find that championship head coach. There are rare coaches in this league that can develop young talent and win championships. A la Doc Rivers, of course, what he did in Boston. And, of course, the Clippers. Greg Popovich. Eric Spoelstra. I would argue Miami. These are rare coaches. And by the way, Billy Donovan has kind of done it in Oklahoma City as well. Of course, Nate McMillan in Indiana. These are rare guys that can take a team that's young and then build from it and possibly win championships. But it doesn't happen that often in the NBA. So am I fine with J.B. Bickerstaff being the Cavaliers head coach? Surprisingly, yes I am. Because I don't think it's that complicated of a process. I think what you do now, and I talked about this a little bit with Q last week, is, as you guys know, I am the biggest believer in tanking. I believe that the Cavaliers must strip the roster. You must strip the roster, because it was just reported today, too, that Andre Drummond, if John Beilein was coming back, he was gone. So what does that already tell me is, like I said last week, I don't necessarily believe him when he said, I want to stay in Cleveland. That's just stuff they say to be politically correct. We'll see what happens in the offseason. What I would do personally, if I was the Cavs, would be I would let Andre Drummond go. I would let Tristan Thompson go. I would find a team for Kevin Love. You don't even have to give me great value. If you want to give me a late first round pick, fine. But I'm clearing the cap space. I am a big believer in literally stripping the roster. Like, I don't care if this Cavs team is so bad next year, if they literally just have Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, and guys from the G League who are making nothing, and they go 0-82. This is not about winning yet. This is about developing talent. You can develop talent while losing. I think that's the biggest myth in sports. Of course, everybody wants to win. But in order to win big and win consistently, especially in the NBA, I believe it's about developing talent. And then you go out and you get your superstar. Because Darius Garland is a fringe all-star, in my opinion. He's not going to be a superstar. Colin Sexton, to me, at best, is your Lou Williams, is your Patrick Beverly. Great sixth man. You need that superstar. You need to go knock on Giannis's door, Kawhi Leonard's door, LeBron James's door. It's the reason why I'm wearing a LeBron James jersey today. In 2021 and 2022, that's what the Cavs need to do. And if they're going to give Andre Drummond a max contract, they're not going to be able to do that unless they trade him in the 2020 offseason. And you're not going to be able to do that if you still have Kevin Love on the books. Heck, I would even argue Larry Nance makes too much money. So, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really bad look for the Cavs organization. Only because the Cavs have not embraced the tank. If the Cavs publicly came out like the Sixers did, and I believe it was in 2012, maybe 2013, maybe I'm wrong on that. But I believe that like the Sixers, if the Cavs came out and said, hey, listen, we're going to lose. It's going to be tough for you fans. But we're going to get this thing right in 2 to 3 years. Then I would be very acceptable. But the issue is the Cavs are still, their message from an organizational standpoint is, no, we're not trying to tank. We're trying to get better because we're trying to put an entertaining product out on the floor for you fans. Look, let's be honest. And Sean Squirrel and Orlando stated this last week on my show. He said, guys don't go to Cavs games to watch the game. They go there for the fun, the festivities. Like it's basketball. Basketball's a fun sport to watch live. That's what people are going there for. We know we're not going to win. Steven Jackson talked about this on Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd, on Monday. It was really hard for him when he was in Charlotte with the Bobcats. If you remember, he helped get them to the playoffs. He said, we knew every night we were the worst team, and it was hard. He said, in San Antonio, I just showed up, and I knew if we showed up, we had Tim Duncan and David Robinson, we would win a championship, and that's what happened. It's hard to win in the NBA, folks. LeBron James is the anomaly. He went to 8 straight finals. He's probably going to go to 9 in 10 years this year. The Lakers are the anomaly. The Celtics are the anomaly. There's a lot of bad organizations in the NBA. But don't forget, the Spurs were bad before they got Tim Duncan. Don't forget, even these teams like the Cubs in baseball, New England in the NFL, the Saints, they were really bad for a while. Not everything is always greener. And I understand why the Cavs don't want to embrace the tank. I understand tanking is not a good image for the league. But the issue is, do you want to be a 7th or 8th seed and celebrate getting to the playoffs maybe once or twice and then going back down to the bottom like Detroit is right now when they add Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin and all those guys, and then LeBron just took them off the floor and that was the end of their run? Or do you want to take a few years off and be like where the Sixers are now? Now, the Sixers have more issue than talent. The Sixers are one of the most talented teams in the league. They have Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris. They could win the East if they get their stuff together. The issue is, will they? And to me, they're the most frustrating team in basketball, but at least they are in contention for a potential Eastern Conference championship run. And that is why they tanked for really 3 years. Now, you got to get the draft picks right. That's the whole key in this, is you got to get the draft picks right. But if the Cavs get hit on their 2020 and 2021 draft picks and they tank, this team could be scary if they land one of the top free agents in 2020.